After a few years of not being in the UK market, RealMe is back with this, the RealMe 14 Pro. Now this is only available through Amazon, not RealMe directly. It costs £249, and for that you get some really great spec. For example, you get a 6000 mAh battery, IP68 and IP69 dust and water resistance, we'll show you what that means in a second, a 50 megapixel main lens, 45 watts of fast charging, and a display that's 6.67 inch AMOLED 120 Hz. The latter gets you a 4500 nits of peak HDR brightness. And how does it perform? Well, the 120 Hz panel is not an LTPO panel, but it does perform very well. Super smooth in terms of scrolling, not many issues at all when it comes to jitters or slowing downs. What I would say is, we've touched on this a bit more in the processor section, it can have the odd bump and glitch every now and then. Rare, but it does happen. In terms of color reproduction, let's touch on that. If you're watching your more vibrant content, your nature documentaries, your TV shows, wherever they may be, you're going to get really good popping colors. Does a really good job of demonstrating a variety of matrix across the color ratio, which is great. When it comes to the darker, blacker areas, again, does a very good job of identifying areas where there's deeper blacks, slightly darker grays to blacks, I guess, and then making sure that it darkens those areas yet pops the color where it needs to. Overall, the display, although it is curved, which is against the industry trend at the moment, is very good. And I think the curvature on the display does actually make it feel more premium and look more premium than the $249 price tag even suggests. Then the processor, Dimensity 7300 Energy. Now I think this is just a slightly tweaked processor on the normal 7300 Dimensity MediaTek processor, and I would say it does a really good job overall. Again, makes sense in this price category to have the 7300 Energy processor. And let's touch on gaming right off the bat. So interesting here, you have a dedicated gaming mode, which is GT mode. So if you pop open the settings as you're loading up your game, click on GT mode. This will actually help manage thermals, but also boost the amount of FPS you're getting on your games. Now, in terms of what we've seen, I don't really see much of a difference in terms of balance to GT mode, but I'm not constantly watching the frame rates. Overall, though, I would say the performance is very good. And then let's touch on the gaming side of things. Graphically, high settings here in Call of Duty Mobile as well, runs very well. No issues at all. And yes, I am owning some people in this clip, which is sick, but no issues at all. No slowdowns, no issues with like loading, no jitters, no lag, no real issues at all, which is really good. But then on the casual game side, so if you're playing things like Mario Kart Racing, for example, again, performs very well. Is a really good phone to just pick up and play and be able to just chuck some random content down there, or if you wanted to just use it for things like gaming, for example, it performs very well. Then the AI, you've got the OS that runs on here is RealMe's own, and it is running on Android 15 as well, which is very good. In terms of OS updates, unsure, question mark on this one, because obviously it's just getting back in the UK, not entirely sure when those, if there's a commitment to OS updates. But a couple of AI features. AI Object Razor, for example, works very well. So this will automatically identify an area where you think an object can be removed, highlight it, a single tap will then remove it, which is awesome. AI Ultra Clarity, we've tried this on a number of images and it's not great, but it is there, it does perform very minor. So basically it's better in zoom, according to RealMe, but we don't really see any real world difference here at all. As a whole though, in terms of OS, this does have one really unique feature. So if you were to copy any text or take a screenshot, for example, let's take text, after you've highlighted, you can hold it and you can drag this into a panel that opens up on the side, and then you can add that text into a note, which is super cool and very convenient. Also within that scrolling loop, you can add it to different apps, etc. as well. This was a little hit and miss, as we show by screenshots. If you copy and paste this into Google, it doesn't always work, but on the note side, it always worked super reliable. Generally then, the OS as a whole runs very well. Almost feels like a carbon copy of Oppo's UI, where it runs exactly the same, runs very well, has the same look and feel of ColorOS, really well optimized, no real issues at all, and this is running the latest software patch as well. The rear panel of the phone houses this really large camera housing, but just beneath it, this material is almost like an Alcantara-esque material, super soft, actually very durable in what we've used it. Like no case on, we've just been using it as is, and it's not had any issues at all, which is great for about a week or so. Those camera lenses on the back look absolutely intimidating and huge, but believe it or not, it has a 50 megapixel main lens and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. That's it. Why the housing is so big, I have absolutely no idea, but that 50 megapixel sensor does perform very, very well. As a whole, if you watched our Poco X7 Pro review, if not, check out the link in the description and the pull-out panel at the top. That was like a surprisingly good camera for what it offered for a cheap price point. This probably performs slightly better than that. Does a very good job of being able to process images in the right light really, really well. So no ultra wide here, which is a shame, but generally photos all look really, really good. And you do get up to 5x zoom, and even the 5x zoom actually looks pretty decent. Doesn't look bad at all. Again, no real, like, you're not going to get some great amount of detail if you're zooming into the image, but overall they do look really, really good. In terms of night mode, that's interesting. This actually performs very well in night mode, surprisingly well in night mode. It does a really good job of retaining those darker nighttime shots. Overall, the quality of the cameras on that 50 megapixel main lens is very, very good. With any phones, there are plus points and there's downsides. So let's quickly touch on the downsides. There's only a couple here. So preloaded apps, you do get quite a lot on here, sometimes upwards of 60 plus preloaded apps, which a lot you can delete, but some you can't delete, which is a bit of a shame. The other bit is the 50 megapixel camera on the rear is very, very good. The 2 megapixel depth sensor is pointless, and there is no ultra wide. So in terms of a lot of functionality within the phone, doesn't really exist. But then the highlights, there's some really, really good ones. The display is excellent. Curved design makes it feel more premium, and on top of that you also get IP69 dust and water resistant, and also this has really high grade military protection. So if I did this, it does nothing to the phone at all. It is absolutely fine. And you could do that, you can drop it, you can bash it, you can do whatever you want pretty much reasonably, and it's really, really good. It doesn't actually matter too much, and it's built for that reason. So that's where the IP69 comes in, and this military grade protection to protect against things like drops and knocks. But overall though, at the 249 price point, the RealMe 14 Pro is a really, really great addition. Probably sits very nicely alongside the CMF Phone 1 and the Honor 200 Lite are the two phones that are less than 300 that we would recommend buying for sure. And this is another great addition. So let us know your thoughts on this, the RealMe 14 Pro. Is this something that you would buy yourself around this price point? Or would you pay just a little bit more and get a Poco X7 Pro, or even one of the Redmi Note 14 series, which are also two good phones? Let us know in the comment section. Until the next one, as always, we out.